order. So we'll call the meeting to order. It is 7:01 p.m. November 16th, 2021. We've got myself, Bruce, Jessica, Jeff, Bunn, June Williams, Mike Fowler, Sarah Heater, Justine Brotherston in attendance tonight. And I'm just going to read the electronic participation protocol here. Please note that this meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means, you are consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. Further, please note that meeting attendees do not have video and audio capabilities. Oh, looks like Dinah's joined us.
Here I am. Thank you. Sorry.
Are you familiar with the electronic protocol?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If that is it, then we will start our meeting here.
Is it okay to ask who Jeff Bunn is?
Sure. Jeff?
Hello, committee. My name is Jeff Bunn. I'm the deputy clerk at the township. I'm relatively new. I started just about 6 months ago.
Oh,
Good to be here.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're just going to go down to number 4, confirmation of the agenda. Has everybody got a copy of it in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, I can just read that resolution for you if you'd like. So that the Recreation Committee approves the November 16th, 2021 agenda as circulated.
Can I get somebody to?
I'll second.
Sorry, and who's our seconder?
I second.
Dinah, and everybody's all
Yep.
in favor? Say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest before we go to the minutes?
not me.
Nope.
Okay, none? All right. Item number 6. Everybody has the minutes from September 21st, 2020.
Yes.
Is there any questions, any corrections before we approve the minutes?
Nope.
No, not for me.
Okay, so
Nope.
then the resolution is that the Recreation Committee meeting minutes from the September 21st, 2021 be approved as presented.
I'll
All in
second that.
favor?
Yeah.
Bruce?
Who's
Aye.
our mover?
I'll move.
I can
Bruce and
second.
June.
Correct.
All right, thank you, guys. And everybody's all in favor, say aye.
I
I
Aye.
Aye.
All right, item 7, any business arising out of the minutes?
nope.
not for me.
Nope.
No, okay. Do we need a mover and a seconder for
Nope.
item 8?
No, we
I'll move.
we can move on to item 8.
Okay, all
Okay.
right, item 8 is gonna be a little busy, but we'll try and go through it as quick as we can. Consent agenda. So basically, we've got a lot of revenue and expense information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, you guys can see, from 2019, 2020, 2021, as things are slowly opening, we're getting a little bit more revenues coming in, but we're, for the most part, haven't had a lot of revenues. So there's been a few expenses, obviously, that carry on. I looked it all over myself. I don't see too much to get too excited about this year. If there's anybody, do we want to go through each one of these lines, or do we just want to get a general consensus over everybody?
General consensus would be good.
General.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or concerns over the revenue and expense sheets?
No,
No.
next year it'll be different because there'll be real figures in there that we can see growth.
Yes,
Right now, it's, it's starting to open, but It's unfortunate, but that's the times.
Yes. All right. Is there anybody else have any questions before we make a motion to accept?
Okay, then we'll do two resolutions. So the first one is that consent agenda item 8.1 be received for information.
I'll move.
I'll second.
So Dinah and Bruce seconded. All in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Perfect. And then the second one will be that consent agenda item 8.2 be received for information.
All motion.
Bruce,
I'll
seconder.
second.
Dinah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, guys. Correspondence. Is there any correspondence to read out tonight?
Nope, there's none tonight.
All right,
Perfect.
we'll get on to 10 delegations. Do we have any delegations to speak?
No, we have no delegations tonight.
Okay, we're just flying. All righty, well, we're gonna try and this one will take a bit of time. So
Yeah.
item 11, committee and staff reports. So we've got a few things here. We've got, looks like 5 items on the list here. 11.1, engage Puslinch subcommittee update. Councillor Jessica Goida and Dinah Matkinson. You guys have the floor.
Jessica, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody has the recommendation in front of them. So we know that the purpose of this project was to create campaigns to obtain feedback about our recreation facilities from our users. The background, of course, we did some research. We came up with some opportunities. And then we did come up with Jessica and I and Justine came up with 2 ideas: the facility survey and the drawing contest, story contest for the playground feedback. So when we presented at the Recreation Committee meeting in September, it was requested that we move forward with these proposals and we present at this meeting, which we will do. What we are asking from you are to review our proposals, which we'll give them to you tonight if you haven't read them already, and to provide us feedback, changes, or approve. Okay, so advertising for our Puslinch projects is pending 2022 final budget approval. So I guess anything in there that would pertain to this is still on deck. So you have 2 attachments. One is the first one is our Engage Puslinch Recreation Facilities Survey Proposal Form and Suggested Survey. So the proposed posting date, of course, is to be determined because, and closing date, because we would like to launch it at the same time as our social media or there shortly therefore. So of course, the name is the Engage Puslinch Recreation Facilities Survey. And what we hope for is a 6 to 8 week campaign to survey users of township recreation facilities for feedback. But I think that Justine had also mentioned that, I can't remember who it was, what staff could use it possibly to send to users after they've used facilities for their feedback on an ongoing basis. Is that right, Justine?
Yep, that had been talked about as well.
Right, so that can also be used for future use. The tags that we came up with, which is how it'll show up on Google searches and social media searches, are community recreation facilities and rentals. Pretty specific. You don't want to use too many words. You want it to be very specific. We thought that was very targeted. We're not submitting a project banner. What I suggested is that if we could have a collage of the facilities, I don't know how we would come up with that, but that's what I thought would be kind of cool. and a project image. And I don't know, we're not going to submit an image of that either. I mean, we do have something that on the banner that comes through, and it's a picture of the rink, I believe. And that can just be used as well. But if possible, a rotating for an image, rotating photos of all facilities. On Puzzlinch today, we have rotating ads, so I didn't know if that would be possible, but that would be an ultimate. But we can always use just what we have of our facilities, if that is our optimal usage of any funds or skill sets that we may have. The tools that we wanted to use for this project online is the survey tool, and there were no widgets. No widgets, I believe. Justine, there wouldn't be any widgets for this, would there?
Yeah, I think we just talked about having the who's
Right,
listening and the
Right,
register.
there was no widgets for this. And the people who are listening to our project right now are a recreation committee. So if you've all, I hope you've all had you've got the survey in front of you. This is a proposal. There's an extra page which you can see is the survey that I got online to use as a template. It was for restaurants, actually. I knocked out a lot of the questions. I knocked out wiped out everything that had to do with restaurant, but I used the template just so it would be easier for you to read. This is not the way it's going to look online because we will use our survey template. And Jessica had wonderfully found a place in, I guess it was a recreation facility or a township in, I think it was in BC, right, Jessica?
I think so, yep.
And they had a survey that that I was able to look at and use their questions. I mean, they had a lot of questions. They had like 15, 16, 18 questions. I think I've narrowed it down to 5 or 6, which I thought was, it behooved us to have a short survey, and that is more, then we have better chance of people participating if it's short. So let's have a look. So it's only 5 or 6 questions. If we could have, do you want to look at the questions one by one and then we can have feedback? Does that sound good?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Just so you know, this is just a draft. It really needs some fine tuning, which I can do once I get the feedback. So here we go. The first question is, how are we doing? We are committed to providing you with the best experience possible, utilizing our recreation facilities. So we welcome your feedback. So kind of a warm welcome. So the first question is, which facilities are you submitting feedback for today? Choose one only. And then we would have a checkbox, and they would be limited to only one checkbox.
Wow.
Facility. And if they wanted to, because it's hard, I don't know. I thought about this and I thought it's really hard to give feedback, and maybe I'm, everybody please chime in on this. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If we ask them to give us feedback on multiple facilities, I don't know if we're going to get specific information about each facility. What does everyone think about this question?
Well, I think, one facility, one survey, I mean, I'm sure if people had lots of time and they want to survey all of them, that's their time, I guess. So you're going to get better feedback if you have one facility and one set of questions per facility. You'll be able to narrow it in a little bit. I mean, maybe everybody loves the Optimus Rec Center, but then maybe half the people that rented the community center don't think it's that great, so you have to narrow it down,
So can I ask why? Sorry.
Yes.
Can I ask why you decided just to do one facility? Like,
It's not just one facility. Sorry, June, maybe that's not clear. It's one facility per survey.
okay.
So like Vinny said, you may love the community center, but not like the rink, right?
Okay.
So if you are giving feedback on one survey about multiple facilities, it's going to be muddled, the information, the feedback we get. It's like, well, which facility did you hate and which facility did you love? And it's a short survey.
Mhm.
And if somebody's used, so let's say somebody's gone and used the rink, then they're going to give us feedback on the rink. Then they go and use the community center. Then they're going to say, oh, I have this opportunity to use the community center. Or, you know, or they've used them both in the past, or the gym, whatever, the soccer fields. Then they're welcome
Yeah.
at the end to go back and do another survey for the soccer fields, or for the PCC, or whatever. It's just that I think it gives us, I just think it gives us better, clearer information and feedback about one specific facility. And they can, that's why if you list the facilities, all the facilities that we want included in there, all our facilities, and then they check one, they're only allowed to check one, and then every answer that they put down further is only about that facility. But you'll see they're also general. This is why it's not so easy. When you look at other questions, they're kind of general. So so how does everyone feel about the first question? We may have to go back to it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Is there wording that if you use multiple sites, then you have to do multiple surveys?
We could invite them at the end. We could
Yeah.
add in the end, please feel free, something like that. We welcome you to, if you've used other facilities, to fill out this short survey on that facility as well. Go to blah, 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 blah. We could invite them at the end.
I think you might have to do it at the front, because if I go to that first question and I click on the rink and I want to do it on the soccer field as well,
Yes,
I might get frustrated
yes,
that I can't do two.
right, at the same time.
Yeah, so you have to specify at the front
Right.
and then remind them at the end, hey, fill out another survey for another facility.
So are they putting their name on this? Would they be putting?
Christine, what happens with the survey? Does their name attached to it?
No, typically we leave it so that people don't have to register and it's just anonymous.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, all right.
Good.
No, I was thinking that if they had to put their name and some other information, maybe they could skip all that in their second survey, right? So they don't have to repeat all that, taking more time.
No.
Right.
Alternatively, we can also look at making the questions conditional. So certain questions will show up with a certain selection. So maybe if they wanted to select two facilities to review, there could be two sets of questions for the same set listing each one. There are some options that way.
Right. Okay. So why don't we, at this point, I'm going to suggest let's leave that open. Let's look at the rest of the questions and see what we think about, because some of them are general, but we can also make them specific to that facility. So what do you think, guys? Shall we move on to
Sounds good.
question number 2?
Yeah.
Then
Move on.
then we can, let's circle back to this one
Okay.
and make a decision then.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a general one. And I think it's important to know. Do you use any recreation facilities outside of Quizlet, such as gyms, pools, rinks, performance spaces, meetings, or others? If so, which ones? So they have a chance to click on yes or no, and then comment as to which facilities they use. So it'll give us an idea of if they're not using our facilities, or maybe they are, but where else are they going? Maybe we should be looking at, that would give us feedback as, if everybody's saying, oh, we go to the Y, it's like, well, what does the Y offer you? Like, that's so, you know, maybe it'll lead us to another survey, but in the future, but what does everyone think of this question?
That's great.
Right now, I think you're going to get a lot of people putting in a lot of other facilities because of
Great.
COVID and only
Of course.
being at 50% capacity. People
Right.
are going everywhere. They're going anywhere they can get in.
Of course, but we're hoping that we're not going to launch this survey until things are more open. Is that correct? Am I?
Sorry, you
think?
broke up there.
Like we're going to wait until we have social media, number one, and hopefully by then, I think that we're hoping that by the time this survey is launched, and I'm going to confirm that with Jessica and Justine, or get their input, that we're hoping that things are more open by that point, because things are starting to open. So, and we're hoping that I don't think we should, to be honest with you, I don't think we should put out the survey until our facilities are open, period.
Right.
But then I think people will look back historically at whether they used our facilities or not, and whether they go anywhere else. So I think that at the time, so just to kind of capsize what I just said, this survey will go out at a more appropriate time when everything is open and social media is available. Does that answer your question, June?
Yeah,
Great.
Another 6 months to a year.
Right, whatever, hopefully not that long.
Well, yeah, but I mean, people are experimenting with other areas.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so when our facilities open and we put out this survey and they say, well, I've abandoned you, because they have the comment section.
Mhm.
I used to go to blah, 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 to your blah, 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 but now during COVID, something else opened, blah, 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 and now I go there. That's
Mhm.
important for us to know. And then, then we have to sit down and figure out, how do we get them back,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
that's why this question kind of opens up that conversation.
Mhm. Yep. Good.
I have a question.
Yes,
What facilities are closed currently? Justine?
Justine? Mike?
I'm
yeah,
not aware of
Sarah.
any.
Such Community Center remains closed.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
okay.
The
but
gym
anything
is
else?
open and the rink
Yeah.
is open currently, right? Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Just at half capacity. So it's 50% capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true of other gyms in other areas. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No, but people are filling in wherever
Yeah.
they can get in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's
Good point.
two Guelph teams in the gym
Yeah.
tonight, but they're from Guelph, not here.
Right. Well, that's okay.
Oh, that's okay for us,
We
but
don't
then
mind where they come from. right?
people in the
Yeah.
town that are going elsewhere too to get more time too.
Hopefully, we're charging them the Guelph price.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that's what this question will tell us. That's what we'll find out. Somebody might say, I can't use it because Guelph is constantly there. I mean, and then we can address that
Mhm.
if we want to. That's why I feel this question is a pertinent one.
Okay.
Anything
All
else?
right,
Anybody?
let's move on to the next question.
Do we like this question, period?
Let's keep it.
Let's keep it.
Yeah, no, that was
Yep.
good.
Okay, good. Keep. There you go. Okay. Again, another general. How often, again, this is going to be in the future. How often do you or your members of your household use the recreation facilities in Quizledge? Please consider your level of participation prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. That was suggested by this wonderful survey that Jessica sent me, and I never would have thought of that. So, of course, it's never every 2 to 3 months, once or twice a month, weekly, frequently. How does everyone feel about that question? And should we add something like a comment or?
Dana, the only thing I've seen so far is question number 1 was specific.
Yes,
2 and 3 are generic.
I know. And then there is a question about thinking about this facility or giving feedback about later.
Okay.
Right. So there is, you know what, there is one, okay, you have a good point there. Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this needed a lot of finessing based on your feedback.
Yep.
There is a place to go specific, and maybe this is where we can go where Justine says we can add in a layer and they can say, okay, the first question can say which facilities, and we don't choose one only, choose whatever. And then
Pick
when you
them
go
all
to
off.
question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, you go thinking about the facility, use the scale, what facility, and then they check it off, and then they get another box. Then what facility is this for? We can do that. What do you think?
Yes.
Justine, does that sound possible?
I think based on what you're saying, yes. We can
Great.
also obviously reorder the questions, start generic, and then work our way to more specific.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
and so I think I can certainly help with, and staff can help with kind of putting that together. And if
Yes.
we can get kind of some general feedback on the questions, that would be great.
I would agree with you that you start off with the generic. So you start off with question 2 and 3,
Yes,
and then you
Okay.
go into the specific ones. I don't know if the other questions are specific or generic.
everything else is generic except for questions, the first question 1 and question number 5.
Okay.
They're specific. So yeah, we could start, that's a good suggestion, Bruce. Start with number 1. Start with number 2.
2.
Do you use any recreation facilities outside of Puslinch? And how often do you use them in Puslinch prior to
Yeah.
COVID? And then you can go to, so if everybody likes that question number 2, how does everyone feel?
Okay,
June, any
Yeah,
questions?
no.
Good.
Okay.
Bruce, you're okay with that question
Yeah.
number 2? So we make that question 2, and then what we have now for question 3 is, do the recreation facilities in Puslinch meet the needs of your household? Yes, no, if no, explain.
That would be the first question I would put.
You make that the first question?
Yeah, because you don't want to ask a negative off the bat. Do you use something
Right.
else?
Good point. Yeah, good point. How does everyone else feel about that? Make that the first question.
yeah, you're gonna have to play around with it, right? So Bruce has a good point. You
Yep.
don't wanna start off the hop negative. You wanna keep
Yep.
it positive and then look for the feedback at the end.
Mhm.
Right. So how does we make this question, do the recreation facilities in Puslinch meet the needs of your household? Yes, no, if no, explain. We make that question number 1.
Yes.
Yes, Vince? June?
Okay,
Yeah, no,
June?
yeah, no, it sounds fine. Yeah,
It may change as we go.
yeah, no.
So that's
And,
one.
and we
And
can
then
finesse that later too, Dinah. I think
Oh,
probably
order?
what, yeah, we can,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be kind of determined. I think this is just to kind of get some general feedback. And if there was
Okay.
any suggestions, and we
Okay.
can definitely make tweaks later.
Okay, let's do that. But right now, we're gonna start with 1, and then I think how often would be number 2, and I think the next one would be number 3 is what we'd like to suggest at this point. Can I just skip then to the last question, which is on the first page, because I think that's still general. And then we can go to the facility specific in the end. That's what I'd like to suggest.
yeah, go ahead.
If that's okay with everybody. Okay, so if you look to the right side of your page, what, if anything, prevents you or someone in your household from using our facilities? Please select all that apply. There's a lot. I took out some actually that they had in there that I thought, oh no, that doesn't make, we don't need to know that. But I thought these were all really good ones. And of course, we give them an opportunity at the end. Other better or more appealing opportunities elsewhere. Please specify where in the program, because that can give us some clues.
So some of these things, I mean, they're all good,
Yes.
but I'm just wondering, because like the way we run things in our township, and I'm not being negative here, we're
Right.
not like larger centers where we have people on staff that run the programs, say for example, in the gym or in the
Right.
ring. So
Right.
the township isn't responsible for the programs.
Right.
People
Right.
renting are responsible for the program. So I think like not feeling welcome, that's not the township's problem. It's the people that have rented, that have put on a program to make those people feel welcome, that they will come back to the renters program, right? Just saying, I don't know. And or there was another one there. So I think like poor or inadequate facilities is probably a good one to leave in. Lack of cultural sensitivity, I don't think that falls on the township. I think that falls on the person doing the renting for the program. Do you see what I mean? Maybe
do.
I'm wrong, but
But
that's just reading
I'm
that.
on the fence on that one.
Limited access for technology for registration. There again, because the township isn't responsible for the actual programs. Because it's the people that are doing the renting, right?
Responsible for registration for renting facilities. Well, no, they still have to, if you want to rent the PCC, you still have to go through the township or the ice
Okay,
rink.
all right,
you
so
know.
that part, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
understand that, okay. Just some of them, like physical accessibility barriers, yes, that's the township.
Mhm.
So unaware of opportunities. I don't know. Well, I guess if they're looking to rent, you know, we're starting to advertise, so, and we have websites for them to go on, so yeah, that would be part of it. Lack of interest in programs offered. There again, it's up to individuals to rent the facilities, but then again, the rink, the township does offer public skating and free, free public skating. So that might fall under that. I was just, when I read it the first time the other day, and that just came into my mind. Well, if we were a bigger center and we had people on staff that ran programs, then a lot of these would apply, but I think some of them don't.
Yeah.
I think it falls on the renter of the program, like the
I
renter of the
I
space.
think a lot of those questions probably still could apply if you just change the wording from being program. So for instance, like sorry, I've said that and now I can't find my place back again, but
That's okay.
for something
Because
like, for instance, for the
top
limited
question
access,
is
for instance, if you say right now it's written limited access to technology for registration, maybe instead of registration, that should say for booking.
Right.
Or something like inconvenient program times, maybe it shouldn't say program times, maybe it should say rental availability times or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're putting it back to the facility, not the program.
yeah, or
Right.
even like lack of interest in programs offered, maybe it should just say lack of interest in facilities offered, or facilities or rent/rentals offered. And put more of a rental / booking spin on it rather than programs.
right. Great suggestion. I love that. Where else can we use that? Lack of child minding, supervision of children doing program participation. That's not on the township as well. Should we just take that out or should we,
I'd take it out.
everyone? Because that's,
Well, for sure, it doesn't apply to a program.
right.
I mean, maybe they
doesn't apply
can.
to the facility either. It's not up to the township to provide, like for the Aberfoyle Farmers Market. If they wanted to provide child minding in a corner somewhere where they have playthings and a supervisor, that's up to the farmers market. It's not up to the township.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Good.
But then again, maybe there's a program where somebody's rented the facility and is offered a program and they can't participate because they need childcare.
Right.
Maybe somebody needs to open up a daycare in Busledge Township. Anyway, that's all.
So, you know, then it doesn't hurt to leave it in. If we get feedback and people say, can you not have a childcare there for when we feed our, and maybe when we feed our children, when we go to use a program, maybe that'll open up for somebody who wants to run a daycare there. Well, we do have Whistle Stop, but that's limited.
Oh, that's, yeah, well, and that's a co-op teaching program, isn't it?
So maybe that would maybe that would find, right. So maybe if we leave the question in, we'll get feedback that people do want daycare for when they use our programs, and maybe, or use our facilities. And maybe if there was a daycare there that could be run privately by somebody else who uses the facilities to do that. I mean, this is for the next committee to figure out, right? It's another subcommittee, but yeah, maybe we leave the question in, no harm, no foul, and we might get some interesting feedback on that.
Mhm.
Bruce,
Right.
Vince?
Any more questions on that? I think,
No, okay, then. Okay. So I just want to point something out, and June did bring up a very good point, and all of your points have been great feedback, June, for this. Where it was part of the survey that Jessica had sent me, that great survey, not feeling welcome and lack of cultural sensitivity. I know it is up to the programs to make everyone feel welcome, to make sure there's no cultural insensitivity. It would be up to the programs. But I wonder if the community as a whole has a responsibility for that, as we do as the Recreation Committee. I'm going to give you an example, not of our recreation facilities, but something I've experienced here living in Puslinch with new neighbors who have moved in. So recently, in the last year, we've had new neighbors move in, wonderful people. But they are of a different color and a different religious background. And unfortunately, I have discovered through helping them find certain things that they need help with, that they don't feel welcome in this community. And there is some cultural insensitivity. Not that I want to bring this into here, but I've just seen it. So I know it's here in the community. If it transcends somehow into our facilities, by asking this question, if we can find out if it has transcended into our facilities, if people somehow don't feel welcome because I mean, I can't put a finger on it, but I can put a finger on that. I do know that by experience, and it makes me very, very unhappy to know. I mean, they have been welcomed by many people here, but there are some people who have not welcomed them and have shown that to them. Unfortunately, it's here, it's everywhere, right? So I think leaving those questions in is important so that we can find out if there's some way that the township, if we do find out information, how can we address that? How does everyone feel about that? Is it too sensitive information, or?
no,
Thoughts?
I'd be fine with it.
Okay.
Everybody should feel welcome, so
I agree.
maybe when we're marketing
I
our,
agree. As my
this-
neighbors should feel welcome too.
maybe when we're marketing our facilities, that might be some slogan or some wording that we use with our marketing, that
All are
all
welcome.
people are welcome to rent and be a part
We
of
can-
the community, so.
We can also
Yeah.
use, if we're going to use photographs with people in them, we can use, like free photographs or whatever we're using. We can use a diverse community in our photographs, and that is a way the
That would be
township
good.
could make a diverse community feel welcome at our facilities.
Yeah, let's do that for sure.
Now, okay, everyone's okay with keeping those questions in there, and we'll move on?
Okay.
Yep.
Good, great.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna keep in that child minding thing. Okay, the last one then is, thinking about the facility you are giving feedback about, please rate how satisfied you are with the following. And this will be on a scale from 1 to 10. I'm not fond of those, but it does make sense in this question. Location, condition of building, the amenities, building design, look and feel. I don't know. I suppose that's probably like for people who want weddings and things like that. They want the look and feel. Physical accessibility, driving and parking. We might want to add, driving and parking, we might want to add, does a bus stop in front of us at all? Any sort of
I
Guelph
think
bus or
Go
Go bus?
Bus does, or they used to, but I don't think there's any other bus. Greyhound's no
Drive
longer
parking.
around.
Should we put driving, parking, and or public transportation? See what people say about that.
Sure.
Hmm.
I mean, I know nobody is using public transport, but maybe people from Guelph, if you know, are gonna say, well, I can't get there because I can't take a bus, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, they can take a bus to the Go Stop, but then they'd have to walk back to the
They have
village,
to
or
walk.
walk down
Right.
to Morriston.
So you
Depends on where they're going.
never know, we might get a plethora of people saying, I would use your facilities if I could get there. So anyways, I'm just going over these quickly and then everybody give me their feedback. Availability of programming and activities of interest. I know that's up to, but we might get some feedback of a program that we may not offer that they want. And maybe we can reach out to somebody who wants to provide it. Maybe that's an opportunity to get somebody to rent our facilities to provide, I don't know, field hockey. Stickball, I don't know. So located close to other facilities. I mean, it is close to Aberfoyle, so maybe people will say, I love it, the Timmy's is there. Quality of programming and activities provided, maybe that one, I don't know. Okay, and then tell us more, so they get to chime in about anything they want. But this could be where we say, pick a facility, and then give us, and then pick a facility, what facility do you want to give feedback on? And then this one populates in, and then we can have, pick a facility, this feedback, you want to give another facility if you want to, and then this populates in. Thoughts about the questions? Let's talk about those first.
They look pretty decent. I don't know, it's one of those things where you just got to put them all out and see what kind of feedback we get, you know?
Yeah.
We could only get 10 surveys back, or we can get 100 of them back, so
Who knows?
yeah, it's hard to know, you know?
It's true.
It's
Surveys
really
is
hard to
fill
ask the
out
right
surveys.
questions, so.
Yeah, that's why you don't ask too many questions. So if somebody wants to, then, you know, if you want to take out quality of programming and activities, because that's not up to the, we do ask them about availability of programming. We don't necessarily have to ask them about the quality. If they want to chime in afterwards.
We can maybe say availability of programming and activities provided instead of quality.
Yeah.
Right, well, we've got both. If
Okay.
you take out quality, that's just one less question that they have to answer.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thoughts? I'm gonna say take it out.
Mhm.
Yes?
Yeah, because it's up to the individual that does the renting, right?
Exactly, exactly.
You're asking
That's
about.
right. So let's just,
facilities.
let's leave in availability. Let's leave in availability and take
Yeah.
out quality.
Okay,
Good?
yeah, that's good.
Great. So everybody likes the questions? Any more feedback about that? Any extra questions? Any questions you don't want?
I have one question, or possibly suggestion. I don't know how valuable this information would be, or how the platform works in terms of gathering this information, but would it maybe be helpful to understand, we don't necessarily need names of people who are filling out the surveys, but maybe their postal code, or like their, even just the city, so that we have an understanding of where people are possibly coming from that are using the facilities.
That's a
And
great,
then we can
I
use
love
that
that suggestion.
information. Hopefully we could use that information for future target marketing, so that we can,
yes,
you know,
that is
advertise to the appropriate
great.
market.
So that question would have to be at the beginning of the survey. Hopefully.
Well, we can fix that, but what would the question be? What is your postal code? That's it, right?
Yeah.
What is your postal code?
I
right?
honestly, I feel
And
like
then-
that question could be anywhere, and like, it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter where it is.
I think they usually ask at the end.
Okay.
You know what else that makes me think of, Jessica, is, and that's such a great, it's such valuable information for us to be able to, when we get to marketing, targeting our market, our target market audience. Can we also ask, because sometimes they ask at the end of surveys, would you like to be contacted about your responses? Would you like us to contact you? Because some people like, I go no, but sometimes I say yes. Like if I'm getting a survey about the keg, I always say, yeah, call me. You know, I want to give you my feedback. So what if we were to add as well, would you like us to contact you?
Who's gonna
Yes.
contact them?
I will.
Okay.
A recreation committee member.
Oh,
I don't know. What do you think, Justine? Is this okay, or
I
I
think
may
we'll
not be on
have
the committee
to,
forever. That's the whole thing.
I think we'll
I'm
have
not
to
gonna
look
be on the
into
committee
that.
forever.
I think we'll have to look into that in terms of resources.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and then privacy too, because if we get too invasive, people don't like that. So I
no,
don't
they
know.
can say yes or no, Vinny. They can say
Yeah,
yes
yeah.
or no.
That's true.
They can say no, don't contact me. If it says yes, please give us your what's your contact information.
And maybe just an email address or something.
Exactly.
So
People are more apt to
Another-
give out an email versus a personal phone number.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Another
Would
option
you-
is asking if they would like to register for Engage Plus Lynch, and then we
Mhm.
can push out opportunities to them through the platform, and that might be more appropriate as well.
Okay, so would you like to register for Engage Lynch? Just Engage Lynch, period, that's it?
Yeah.
Register here, register here.
mhm. So is there any way to tell that somebody just doesn't sit like say you get somebody that's odd and they just want to sit down and cause a problem, and they just send in survey after survey with all different answers, but not necessarily the answers that we want to see.
Gosh, I know somebody who would, I know exactly somebody here who would do that. No names mentioned. Not here in this committee, by the way. I know, I would definitely try that on. Good point, June. What can we do about that? Do we?
Well, there's a lot of computer nut bars around that, do all kinds of things they're not supposed to be doing. So I don't know, how do you control that?
So with the projects that we've had so far, we haven't had any issues with multiple or inappropriate submissions. I know on Bang the Table, there is some element of moderation provided by the platform. But we do have the ability to limit, I think, the number of responses by IP address or something like that. But so far, it hasn't been an issue that we've experienced.
Oh, good. Good.
But if we did, there'd be some way to find out if it's.
We'd be able to
legitimate.
limit who was submitting surveys by adding restrictions. The thing that I would warn against that is just if you make it difficult. So part of the reason that we leave it as people just doing it anonymously and not having to register for the platform is to make it very easy to submit feedback.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. not
Maybe we
everybody-
address that if that happens. Like if we get like 30 surveys that are all negative, like completely.
or they're very
Do we
generic.
look and go, like, is it coming from one IP? What is it called? An IP something or other?
IP
I
address.
get
I
IP
think
address.
if it appeared to be spam, we could definitely look into it.
Okay. It might not be spam. It can just be a troublemaker.
So what are we going to do with the results? Like, who's going to check these results? Because I mean, a survey isn't good unless you do something with
Of
the
course.
result. Yeah.
Well, I think it's
So-
always been, we'll bring it to the committee, no?
Yeah, so
after that-
the idea is that it will be brought, the project results will be provided to appropriate staff, and then they'll be brought to the Recreation Committee at the November 15th, 2022 meeting.
Okay. Good.
Great.
All right. Is there
Anything
any more
else on this?
questions?
So I will, Justine, based on the feedback, I will redo the survey, and then do we need to present that again at the
No.
December meeting?
No,
No.
so what we're gonna do, and what the recommendation is, so we're just kind of getting some feedback tonight, and then it's gonna be that the subcommittee work with staff to implement the projects in 2022.
Okay, so I don't need to, but I'll still revise based on feedback.
Yeah, we'll work as a subcommittee to,
Okay, so we'll meet as a subcommittee
forward.
to revise survey.
correct,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So no, nothing at this point. Got it. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Really, I really appreciate all your feedback. It's really amazing and it's helpful.
Thank
You
you.
know, you feel like you're an island. We've had our subcommittee, which is great, but at the same time, you know, I just feel like we're really collaborating well, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you've done a lot of work. That's
Well,
good.
so have all of you. Thank you.
Oh, it's good.
And you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Did you want to do the second part of the report with the playground and all that
No,
I'll
that's
stuff?
do it.
Jessica.
Dinah
That's
has been
Councillor
doing,
Goya.
she's been doing so much work. I'll do this part.
Okay,
Okay, so the second project that we came up with for the, or the second engaged Puslinch proposal that we came up with as our subcommittee is what we're calling the Young Playground Planners. And it right now has a to be determined posting date and a to be determined closing date, and that will again coincide with we'll get some help from staff on that in terms of when this should launch and how long it should last. The project tags for this one are community, playground, youth, and recreation. In terms of the banner and the project image, we don't necessarily have anything specific to use, but we're hoping to put like a photo or a drawing of a playground and kids playing on playground equipment. I don't probably believe we have those images in our archive anywhere, so I'm not
I would-
sure. Those...
I would pull up a big fancy water park and put an image of that in there.
Oh.
Not a
Big.
water park. We're
Big water
talking,
park.
we
Yeah.
are talking strictly playgrounds,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
water parks.
that's good. Playground is good.
So just in terms of the actual wording of what's being put forward, they're basically activities. I did think about putting an age sort of target on it, but then I thought, you know, we don't need to do that. I'm sure that I don't want to exclude anyone by limiting a certain age. I wouldn't know what age to pick. So I think it's fine to just leave it as is. But there's basically 2 activities. And it's written here, fun activities for you to draw, write, or create your perfect playground and share your final work with I called us the parks team. And your shared products from these activities will help inform future planning for playground upgrades and may be used in township publications or be featured on township social media and website. I'm hoping that there'll be some good images and stories that come out of it that we'd be happy to share to the rest of the community. So the first activity is a drawing or collage, and we just have imagine your dream playground. What does it look like? What types of playground structures are there? And then basically just instructions of what that might look like. And it's pretty open-ended. And we also had the option of doing it as a collage using magazine pictures, newspapers, catalogs, all those kinds of things. And it's just meant to be a fun activity. In terms of the collage component, I realized that there's probably not an overwhelming amount of photos of slides and swings and things like that in magazines and newspapers and stuff. So I wasn't sure if there was any way of us to access kind of like, I don't know, a catalog or something like that where it'd be easier to pull the photos from, but that's the first idea. I don't know if you want to pause and give some feedback on that.
Anybody
Jessica,
have any feedback?
Yes, actually, Jessica, there are websites where you can go, pexels.com, Pixabay, that have royalty-free photos that you can download and print.
So if
In
we
a
could
number of
maybe
sizes.
link
So-
those, like a link that people
Yeah.
could click on and print off, that would be probably a great
Yep.
addition to.
It's Pexels. I'm writing this down. Pexels.com and Pixabay.com. They're both royalty free. I use them all the time and they have great, I mean, not always perfect, but for this, I think they'd have a lot of stuff that people could use.
Okay, great.
As far as advertising, another great spot to go to is the school. So when we're advertising the Santa Claus parade, we give it to the school, and because everything goes home electronically, and so they would put that in their newsletter, and and then we usually print off. We do a separate kind of picture that the kids can color, and we take it to the library and they keep it there. And when they have their programs, they give them out to all the kids to either color there or take home and color, but it has all the information about the parade on it. So that's
Yeah,
just a
that's great.
couple of other places where you're gonna get.
That would be a
right to the
great
kids.
suggestion. And maybe the library too, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the library is a great idea, and the school. And we'll obviously put it on PT. You could, I don't know, I'm happy to write a quick article, and we could send it as an article to Visage Pioneers so they don't charge us to advertise.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that's awesome.
You know what's getting pretty popular is natural outdoor play structures and playgrounds. You know, rather than the normal, you know, monkey bars and plastic and stuff. There are a couple of examples in Guelph where they've, you know, put logs together and natural stuff, you know. Maybe we could encourage some of that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, maybe add that into the wording somehow. Okay, and then the second activity, which I mean, there's nothing stopping anyone from doing all of them, but or they can also choose. And the second activity is a story. And this just says, write a story about a trip to your favorite playground. Use the questions below to help add interesting details to your story. Make sure to describe all of the things you see in the playground and what things you would like to do there. You can also add drawings or pictures to enrich your story. And then there's just a list of sort of like question prompts to get, you know, the minds going and hopefully come up with some ideas. And I mean, understanding that these are, you know, these are meant to be fun and creative activities, and that, you know, obviously if someone is drawing a 50-foot slide in their picture, that's not necessarily something we're going to implement, but it's good to, it's just good to get an idea of what the kids using these playgrounds, you know, in an ideal world, what that would look like and what they would be doing in this playground. It would just be, I think it would be a good way to get kids engaged in some of this park planning that is coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's nice.
I think it's wonderful the way you've worded it. It's just, it's so inviting, Jessica. It's so inviting.
Yeah, so the only thing I wasn't sure of is how these would get submitted through the platform, like whether it's just taking a photo of what you've done and uploading it, or that component is the area that I struggled with a little bit, but I'm sure staff can help us through that.
Yeah, I can help with those instructions.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Alright, do you want me to read the recommendation?
Yes, please.
Okay, that the report Engage Puss Lunch Subcommittee update be received as information, and that the subcommittee work with staff to implement the Engage Puss Lunch projects in 2022 and to report project results to the appropriate staff and at the November 15th, 2022 Recreation Committee meeting.
Okay, do we have someone who will approve or motion to approve that?
I
I'll
will.
do it. I'll second.
Bruce, second seconded by June.
Yep.
Everybody all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, good job on that. That was a really good presentation.
Thanks,
Uh,
Amy.
I think 11.2, it's just a little bit of a spelling mistake here. Aberfoyle Fall Fair parking update. I think it's just for information. Justine?
Wait,
So the purpose of this report is to provide the committee with staff's recommendation to address future parking for the Aberfoyle Fall Fair with the development that's occurred of the soccer fields. So as you recall, there was a delegation made at the May 18th Recreation Committee meeting talking about this. So this year they held a scaled back event due to COVID, and they didn't experience any issues with parking, but there is concerns for when the event returns to normal. So as you would have seen as part of the report, the staff recommendations are outlined. And just let me know if you have any questions.
No, looks pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any questions on that?
nope.
Nope.
All
Okay.
right, I think
I can
we'll,
read the recommendation for you.
okay.
So staff report REC 2021-007 regarding the Aberfoyle Fall Fair parking be received for information, and that the following staff recommendations be forwarded to council for consideration. 1, parking be prohibited from any fields or grass areas on Puslynch Community Center grounds. 2, participant parking be limited to the gravel parking area using the entrance off of Maple Leaf Lane, and that snow fencing be installed to stop parking from occurring on the soccer field. 3, attendee parking be limited to Puslynch Community Center parking lot. 4, that the Agricultural Society consider contacting the Aberfoyle Antique Market for overflow parking. And 5, if the Agricultural Society would like to provide a shuttle from the township office to the Puslynch Community Center, the insurance would need to include the Puslynch Township office.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion to accept the recommendations?
I will.
June, seconded.
I'll second. Need a second?
Okay. Dinah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay. Item 11.3, committee orientation subcommittee update. You're on the stage again, Justine.
Perfect. So the purpose of this report is to provide the committee with an update on the committee orientation training subcommittee. So the subcommittee and staff have identified a number of topics to be addressed in the orientation training. And the subcommittee is just looking for committee feedback on any additional items to be considered.
Okay. Is there any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. Perfect. So then the recommendation is that staff report REC 2021-008 regarding the committee orientation training update be received for information, and that the subcommittee work with staff to bring back a draft training package for the May 17th, 2022 Recreation Committee meeting.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion on that?
Sure, I will.
Oh, I'll second.
Okay, Jessica and Dinah seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Recreation Committee, so item 11.4, Recreation Committee goals and objectives.
Okay, so the purpose of this report is to review and provide updates on the committee's goals and objectives. So as stated in the report, council has delegated a new objective to the committee for 2022-2023. The new objective is for the fundraising opportunities for the Puslynch Community Center park renovation and upgrade and replacement of lights and upgrading washrooms at Old Morriston Park. So this was included in the report. And this is really just to make the committee aware that this is an upcoming project for the next year. And we'll establish a subcommittee at the February 2022 meeting. And then just to note, the end of this project is that the final funds for the project are to be provided to the township by December 1st, 2023.
Okay. Any questions on that report? Can somebody make a motion to accept?
Oh, sorry, I'll read the recommendation. So that staff report RUC 2021-009 regarding the Recreation Committee goals and objectives 2021-2022 be received for information, and that fundraising opportunities for Post Lunch Community Center, park renovation and upgrade and replacement of lights and upgrading of washrooms at Old Morriston Park be added to the 2022-2023 goals and objectives.
Okay, is there anybody who'd like to make a motion that we accept that recommendation?
I'll motion.
I will.
All right, Bruce, and seconded
I'll
by
second.
June. June, okay, yep. All right, last update on the list here. Mike Fowler is going to give a Parks Master Plan update. Are you there, Mike?
Oh, I'm here, Benny.
All right, so all ready for you.
So just an update to the master plan would be tenders have been published for the lights at the soccer field and Old Morriston Diamond. And also the tender has gone out for phase 1, which would be the bleachers, soft landscaping, horse paddock, those type of venues within phase 1. So both tenders are out, currently slated to close within the coming weeks. And that's all I have to report.
Where do you guys list these tenders? Are they on like a platform somewhere?
I'm pretty sure they're on Badingo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if anything's come in?
That would be submitted to finance, and I'm not aware at this time.
Okay.
Justine, is there a way that we can get a copy of, can you send out a copy of these tenders?
I can certainly ask Mike for them.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe while we have you on the thing here, Mike, is there any updates on when the community center might be open, or is that going to be closed for a while now that we're doing renovations?
Kitchen renovations are well underway. Construction schedule is tentatively on schedule, waiting for a couple, we'll say, back ordered items, but nothing that's going to hold us up tremendously. I don't have a completion date of yet, but probably realistically middle of January would be a safe assumption.
Okay. And then we would be looking at getting the hall opened up around then, possibly?
That's correct. And also the possibility of enabling Whistle Stop to resume operations.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Mike before we let him go?
I do.
Yes, Bruce?
Has the township notified or made public the time frame for the master plan to all the public? Of the schedule, I would say.
There has been a public consultation, but I am not aware of any other future timelines, Bruce. Do you have what were you specifically referring to?
Well, just like a timetable saying, okay, the soccer fields are going to be ready for spring of 2023. The lights are going to be ready for 2023, and anything else, like a tentative time frame. Because
Okay,
people
so
ask me all the time.
The tentative time frame, a safe assumption would be because tenders have gone out for the soccer field lighting
Yeah.
and the phase 1. Obviously, tenders will be submitted and presented to council for approval within January or February of 2022. The expected construction date would be within 2022 with completion early 2023. So again, the hopes is for the back soccer field to be operable and available for rent spring, early summer of 2023, realistically.
Yeah, I understand that, but are you making it public, known to the public, like in the town, the Pioneer
Or on the Pussich website.
website
maybe.
or something like that, like a time frame so people can go to it?
Mhm.
I can look into that, but I know in the past, usually large construction projects like this aren't kept updated to the
Okay.
public. It's usually, this is the commencement date and this will be the end date. So not in the past have we kept an updated construction schedule for the public.
Yeah, I was just thinking that may be a good idea. I don't know if you guys like that or not.
You know, what would be really cool, Bruce, is if the Pussich Minor Soccer Club maybe did like a official ribbon cutting ceremony to open the new field. And we could put it on Pussich Today and then the Pioneer and on the Pussich website. You know, that's a big improvement back there. You know, something to be proud about and excited for. So
Mhm. But that's
Absolutely.
2023. Mhm.
Yeah, I was just thinking just that we make it public, known to the public of a time frame for all these,
Right.
because it was a $1.4 million project, and it's going to take 3 or 4 years to get all these projects done. So people might want to know what the time frame is to make the playground. When is the new playground going to be ready? You know, it doesn't have to be specific, like the goal is spring of 2024 for the new playground. Or the parking is going to be done whenever. I don't know, I'm just talking out loud here.
Oh,
Can I
communication is
ask
very
a
important.
question? Yes, can I ask a question? I know that this meeting is recorded and posted online for the public to see. Is that correct, Justine? It is, right?
yes.
That's
Oh,
correct.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, they can hear Mike's, not that they want to watch the whole thing and scroll to the, and wait for Mike at the end. But I'm just wondering, can it be included in the minutes, that information, or is that not appropriate?
So because we post the videos for it, we typically kind of do the minutes without comment.
Right. But if this could be, I'm just throwing it out there, if this could just be an exception to note Mike's comments on end dates, proposed end dates for the items, and that way, if people, I mean, Bruce can tell the people that are asking him, go to the minutes of the November meeting, go to the end, and you'll see those dates. And that would be just an easy way, because the minutes are posted, right? They're available to the public. And if Mike's, you know, if just those details, not everything Mike says, because they can go and listen to him online, but if just those details could be included, would that be one way of informing the public on the end dates? And then Bruce can just direct them to the minutes.
Well,
Yeah, we can certainly add them to the minutes. Mike, would you like it listed as proposed end dates?
Yeah, realistically, we can only offer them as proposed or
Yeah.
Exactly.
expected dates.
Right.
Again, there's still procedures, construction schedules to be followed. I mean, this still even has to have final approval from council for the final budget for this year, which is end of January. So it would be premature to start offering dates until everything is firmly committed to.
Like I
So
said,
then maybe they could be added. Sorry, go ahead, Bruce.
I said it's basically a proposal or goal. This is a big thing for the township, and I think it should be listed on the homepage of the township's website.
Exactly.
We got $1.4 million. This is what we're doing with it. We got 1.4 million in grants. This is a way to advertise what we're doing for the recreation. That's all I'm saying.
No, I fully agree. When you go on the township website, what's wrong with, look what we're doing, and just show, you know, the lights, the whatever.
I think very valid points. Did we want to maybe put forward some kind of a motion or something that we recommend, or a recommendation that we maybe do this?
Can
I
I
can-
just speak up? I'm sorry. I'm just
Yep.
gonna play devil's advocate here. If we put on our website, on the front page, proposed end dates, and then that doesn't happen.
No,
believe
just in
me,
general, in
slack is-
this
I
year.
don't know.
Yeah. Could we not just say, like, oh, so we're going into 2022? 2022, this is what's gonna happen. We're getting lights, we're getting new washrooms, we're getting a new kitchen.
Exactly.
It's great. I
It would
mean,
be nice to do like maybe a facilities, recreation facilities update, maybe on the Puss Lunch website, just to, bring the public up to date. Because, you're right. I don't know how many people have been like, oh, do you know what's going on at the community
yeah,
center?
exactly. Yeah.
Or what's going on back there? And I was like, well, I
Yeah.
can tell you what's going on, but well, then people are like, well, I didn't know that was happening,
I know. Fly the banner. We got lots to be proud of.
Mhm.
Maybe
Okay.
can I make a suggestion? I think I think that these are all great ideas, but I also think that they take some staff resources to put that together. So perhaps the best approach would be to have staff come back with perhaps their recommendation as to how we can put some exposure on our website, what's appropriate to say and how to do it, and maybe
Yeah.
go from the staff recommendation.
So I wonder if the chair of the rec committee would be willing to write a nice little article to go into the Puss Lunch website, just to give a brief update.
Can I suggest that this be a subcommittee? And that the people that are interested in this and then that the onus and responsibility will be on the subcommittee to come up with proposals and run it by the recreation committee about how we're going to inform people in the future digitally on the progress of this program. I don't know, I just see it as a great opportunity everybody seems very passionate about this. So I think I see it as an opportunity to take a workload off the staff and put it on the recreation committee, who is, like I said, passionate about it, and come up with some recommendations as to how this should proceed, and that they will be the ones to basically do the work and research and put it together, whatever. I'm just suggesting it as a what do you think, a subcommittee?
I think no. No, I think we're going down the subcommittee route too much. It's just that we need to promote and advertise why we've got the grant and the time frame for that grant. Put it on the website in a little box, bam.
Okay, so maybe we should make our recommendations that we maybe bring to the township or like council, if they would be willing to do something like that for us. Maybe Justine or someone can tell us how to word it. And they could possibly put it on the website, like a Parks and Recreation Master Plan update, click here or something like that, just to get or what's going on at the Puss Lunch Community Center, click here to find out more,
So I think the direction that Councillor Goyda was going in terms of staff bringing back a report regarding promotion of the Recreation Master Plan to the February 15th, 2022 meeting might be appropriate. Just given that it is pending budget approval and their
Sure.
proposed dates. So I think it'll just give staff an opportunity to look into this.
Okay, so we got to make a motion for this, or?
So the recommendation that I've prepared is that the report Parks Master Plan be received for information, and that staff bring back a report regarding promotion of the Parks Master Plan to the February 15th, 2022 meeting.
Is everybody all in favor of that recommendation? Anybody like to make a motion? Jessica, seconded.
I'll second it.
June Williams, and all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you, Mike. We'll move on to item 12, new business. Is there any new business?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, then we'll move on to item 13, announcements. Is there anybody that has any announcements to make? And we're not doing resignations yet. Any announcements?
No, not here.
Okay, the important question here, before we do number 14, I'm just gonna remind everybody, the next meeting is February 15th, 2022. It's likely gonna be over Zoom, unfortunately. But if we are gonna meet in person, then I'm sure we'll have plenty of notice. So with saying that, would anybody like to move to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move.
Dinah, seconded.
Yeah, I'll second.
June, and everybody's all in favor?
In favor.
Bye.
All right, thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Yes, you
And
too.
it's,
See you
Merry
uh,
next year.
Christmas.
Happy New
Yes.
Year.
Yes, we'll see you next year.
Yeah, enjoy. Well, I look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Yes, me
everybody.
too. Take care.
Bye,
You
everyone.
too, everybody.
Bye.
Take